Hey, what's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're checking out a brand new brand for the channel called the Matsey. This particular model is called the Striga, super slick mini folding cleaver blade. And another one on lent to me from my buddy Lele. He's been mentioned on the channel several times at this point. He's lent me a few different knives. Definitely show him some love. I'm going to link to his Instagram down in the description of the video. Now, not only did he lend me this knife, he was also my introduction to the brand. We were having a conversation about a completely different knife. This one came up. He was really surprised I hadn't heard of it. He has a couple different models, so offered to send one my way. Super appreciative, especially because this one is right up my alley. I love these little mini folders, especially mini folding cleaver blades for whatever reason. This one's only 4.72 inches overall. Now, the Striga starts at $195. They are in stock over on the Matsey website, which I'll link to in the description. Goes up from there depending on what configuration you go with. But even the base model, you're getting these ultra premium materials. So we start with the natural Micarta, which is very, very well done. Starting to get a nice patina on this one because he's been carrying this for a while. We have M390 on the blade, and everything else you see is titanium. Titanium bolster, the pivot, the hardware screws, the backspacer, as well as that milled titanium pocket clip. And these are designed in Poland, OEM'd by Bestech though. And so exactly what you'd expect from a Bestech OEM'd knife. Just really nice and well finished, premium feeling to it, and well done. Bestech does excellent work. I believe he recently released a model that was produced in-house in Poland, but this isn't one of those. This was definitely OEM'd by Bestech, which again, they do great work, so no problem with that whatsoever. In terms of the sizing, 4.72 inches overall, I already mentioned. 2.95 inches of that's in the handle. Now, surprisingly, I'm able to get a full 3-finger grip on here. My ring finger is not even hanging off the end. It's a comfortable 3-finger grip. If I creep enough into that sharpening choil, I can even get a part of my pinky onto the handle, although really don't need to do that. It's a comfortable 3-finger grip here. So a lot more secure than if we were to have a flipper tab. And I feel like a lot of designers, especially with the shape of this handle, you can see it has kind of a weird cutout here at the back, would have used that as an opportunity to put a flipper tab. And that's all great, but once you do that, that flipper tab's most likely going to extend past the handle here and limit us to staying back here in the cutout for that frame lock. And what that would do is change it from a 3-finger grip down to a 2-finger grip. So I'm really, really glad that there is no flipper on this one. Very comfortable, ergonomic 3-finger grip on here. Feels great, feels very secure. Jimping is well done, aggressive and grabby without being, painful, aggressive or anything like that. So our only means of deployment is going to be that thumb stud. Kind of a cool, unique looking thumb stud. It's not the typical just round thumb stud. It has a unique shape to it. And it almost turns it into a thumb disc because it's flat on the top. Now that jimping does extend past up above the thumb studs, so it doesn't really act as a thumb disc as much, but that is the landing spot for your thumb. If you start to kind of turn a little bit during a cut, you are going to land onto those pocket or those thumb studs, and it is going to kind of act like a thumb disc, which I do like, but it's pretty subtle in that regard. But I do like the looks of that quite a bit. You'll also see, because of that cleaver blade shape, we have plenty of access to those. So whether you want to flick it open with your thumb, which is a little bit harder to do with a knife this size, but you can definitely do that, or do the middle finger flick, there's plenty of access for that middle finger flick, and just a really natural motion. And so just very easy to do, even if that's not your strong suit. Plenty of access to that frame lock. You can see tons of lockup on that as well. Super smooth action. I believe it is on bearings. I don't think it says on the website, and I didn't want to disassemble his knife, but it does look to me like I can see some bearings in there. So ultra smooth action on there. One thing you'll notice is this one is serialized. I don't believe the ones that you order now are serialized. I believe he got it in on the early prototype, which is why you have the serial number, but tucked in nicely on the tang of the knife there. You can see that thumb stud is kind of out of the cutting path, right in line with our finger choil. We get a decent sized finger choil. Cleaver style blade, M390 steel, about 1.77 inches, but only about 1.5 inches of cutting edge. And that's perfectly fine. That's more than you're gonna get on a lot of utility blades. So there's plenty you can do with this still. Nice, nearly full flat grind, I guess partial flat grind up to about 3/4 of that blade. Pretty minimal billboarding from the sides. You can see there's really nothing on the back side. On that front side, we do have that same logo that we see on the box right behind the thumb stud, but all very minimal and clean. He does have the Matsey branding on that back spacer, and I really love that placement. I don't think that's an eyesore at all. It's just kind of cool looking, great placement for that, and looks good overall. Again, that is a titanium back spacer and a titanium milled pocket clip. Also really enjoy this pocket clip. Slides in and out of the pocket easy, full deep carry, and it looks good. It complements the shape of the knife, and the only downside to the pocket clip, I'd say, is that it's not reversible, unfortunately, and so just right hand carry on that one, but it does disappear in the grip. You don't feel it. It's well placed, and it just looks good overall. We also have a lanyard hole back in the back corner, which is also, again, very well placed. Already mentioned that frame lock, plenty of access to that, super smooth action overall, and just kind of a cool shape. You can see that cleaver blade does stick up a little bit here, but perfect little fifth pocket carry knife overall. And again, $195, I think pretty reasonably priced for the materials that you're getting. I think he does work with some dealers, but this is available right now over on his site. I'm not affiliated, of course. Obviously, I just found out about the brand, but I will make sure to link to that in the description. Now, one other thing is the weight on this one. It's going to be hard to see, but if you look inside there, you can see they are skeletonized for some weight savings, and it's pretty light because it's a small knife. 2.74 ounces. This is not a heavy knife by any means, but for its size, it does feel a little bit weighty, which is great. It feels like you're getting a little bit more of a usable knife. Doesn't feel like dainty or petite because of that extra weight. Again, 2.74 ounces definitely isn't a heavy knife, but on this knife, it feels a little bit weighty in the hand, which is definitely a good thing. Overall, really loving this. Definitely would not hesitate to pick up one of his knives in the future. In fact, hoping to. He has some really, really cool designs, and I like his design language. It's not kind of like everything else that's out there. It's got a unique look to it, and really appreciate that about it as well. Would love to hear your thoughts on it though down in the comments below. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, definitely consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member, or checking out some of my other videos. They all help the channel out a ton, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.